Hello, hello, hello. This is Rock Giver, my D, yes. And Rock Giver means a brand new perspective. My D means one who's rightly guided. So the rightly guided one led me to a brand new perspective, Rock Giver. Listen, I am so excited and blessed to have the opportunity to have this platform to be able to reach out to so many people all around the world and to give you a glimpse inside of the mind of Ragiva, inside the mind of the Soul Focus Group, and to invite you to come join us on our mission to integrate consciousness and spiritual and social consciousness into one consciousness that creates the Soul Focus experience, and to come and enjoy and experience some of our workshops that are groundbreaking. They are breaking new territory when we talk about healing from racism. I mean, when we first created that workshop, we thought people were going to be dancing in the streets for the opportunity to heal. And what we found has been the opposite. People have been struggling with the whole concept of healing from racism. And the reason why they're struggling is because when it comes to healing, we have to take full responsibility. Listen, think about this. I'm so thankful that I have never experienced any major illnesses in my life. But I know people who have, and I know it could be a struggle. And the whole idea of hearing the news, when you get the news that you have a major illness, or and you have to then get in harmony with yourself in order to take on that illness. When the doctor tells you about your condition and tells you that there is a way to eradicate it or to transform it, heal it, the doctor cannot make you heal. The doctor can only offer an invitation to healing. That invitation may come in the form of prescription, may come in the form of an advice about exercise, about changing your diet, but it's an invitation. It's not a pistol that he pulls out and puts to your head and says, if you don't change this shit, I'm gonna kill you, because you already heading toward death. So it's an invitation. No one can force you. Now, here's the thing. When that invitation is given, in that moment when the doctor tells you what the doctor tells you, it is you and you alone who has to take responsibility. And that's the reason why people are struggling with healing from racism. Because, the distractions of us trying to change other people are taken off the table, and we are then forced to face with the reality that racism has damaged us. Yes, people of color and white people. Racism has damaged us greatly, and the damage is not the same. It's not the oppression Olympics, but racism has did us all bad. So we asked the question in our workshop, and the question is, how has racism injured you? And we noticed that white people really struggle with that question. And then when we ask the other question is, how have you contributed to racism, or how are you contributing to racism? People of color struggle with that question. It's because as victims of racism, we don't realize that we can be we could be perpetuating racism more than a white person. Why? Because it is in our subconscious mind. Racism lives in our subconscious mind. It lives in our very nervous system. And until we get out of our mind, until we lose our mind, we got to lose the mind the world gave us and create us another mind, a mind that works only for us. See, let me tell you something. I told my mind a long time ago, look, goddammit, when I send you out into the world, do not come back to me with all these problems, pointing out to me what we can't do and what we can't get and what we can't have. I want you to go out into the world and come back and tell me how we going to solve these problems, how we going to get what we want, how we going to get this done. I take no excuses from my mind. My new mind don't play that. My mind knows that everything is working in my favor, and when I send it out into the world, it utilizes everything that has been programmed into my subconscious to be used for the greater good of my life and those who are connected to me. So, like Napoleon Hill said, I took possession of my mind, and when I took possession of my mind, I realized, shit, I needed to create a whole new one. I had to get out of it, because that bad boy was so spooky. I used to think so bad about myself, talk so bad to myself. I used to talk so crazy to myself. I was like, wait a minute. It felt like being inside a haunted house inside my mind. And then I got out of my mind. I lost my mind. Don't be afraid to lose your mind. Let me tell you something. If your life ain't working for you, don't be afraid to lose your mind. Because now healing from racism will require you to lose your mind. To lose the mind that you've been walking around with that has had you rationalizing this shit as normal. I'm going to say it again. To lose the mind you've been walking around with that has had you looking at this shit as normal. This shit is not normal, nor is it natural. And for us to accept it as a norm is for us to compromise the reality of who we are. And you should never compromise. You should never compromise the integrity of who you are, because if you compromise your integrity, you've already lost. Compromise is how we end up feeling disempowered. Compromise is how we end up feeling like we can't get what we want and nobody will listen to us and we're not valued. Compromise. Fuck compromise. It's time for you to get back in touch with your real integrity, the integrity of who you are. So healing from racism, we offered that, and man, the first time we offered it, people were like, oh my God, I don't want to accept responsibility. We're living in a world where people want everybody else to be responsible except them. And yes, I know white people have participated in it, consciously or unconsciously. They've participated in racism. I'm not trying to excuse them. I ain't trying to talk for them at all. What I'm trying to say is this, is that even in the midst of this, racism, it works well to get us to work against ourselves. That's how racism works. It works to get us to work against ourselves. So if we are going to be serious about dismantling racism, then the first thing that we have to do is we got to get ourselves on our own side. Our goal should be becoming 100% on our own side. When you are 100% on your own side, when the thoughts you think do not hinder you, when the thoughts you think do not attack you, then now you are working to undo, to dismantle, to interrupt racism, because racism has depended upon you being the monkey wrench in your own life. Racism has depended on you being the monkey wrench in your own life. So now healing from racism is about three things. I want you to listen to this because I love singing my little song. It's about recovering your genius, your power, your optimal functioning. It's about recovering my genius, my power, my optimal functioning. My genius, my power, my optimal functioning. Because you know what? When you recover your genius, when you recover your power, when you recover your optimal functioning, you are unstoppable. See, racism did all those things. It took all those things from you. It distracted you from your genius, so you don't see yourself as a genius now. No, you don't. I've heard your conversations. I've listened to you. You do not give yourself credit for anything. You barely are able to accept a compliment from someone when they tell you did a great job. That's how estranged you are from your genius. And when racism distracted you from your genius, it distracted you from your power. So you don't know what you're truly capable of. You don't even know what your imagination can create. You don't even know the power of your own mind. Think about that. You think the conditions that you're in, that you are stuck, that you can't transform them. We got so much power in ourselves. With a snap of a finger, we could transform this. And last but not least, racism moved us completely away from our optimal functioning. Imagine how different your life would be if you were optimally functioning, meaning if you were showing up completely authentic. And what does authentic mean? Accurately representing your truth, accurately representing who you are wherever you go. That you show up as yourself, not as a imposter, not as a make-believe, not as a fake, not as someone pretending to be someone else. You show up as you. I remember something Jay-Z said in one of his videos, so profound. He says, one of the greatest contributions he can make is he get a chance to show up in big rooms as himself. He don't cow down. He don't smile when he don't feel like smiling. He show up as himself. Why? Because he has discovered his power and what he can do with his power. What he can do with his genius. You see his genius. You see his power. You see his optimal function. Don't be a play hater. We need to all be working to get to our genius, our power, our optimal functioning, our genius, our power, our optimal functioning. I want you to have it. 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 My genius, my power, my optimal functioning, because when you get it, everything's going to change.